Welcome back, everybody. It's time for Game 2 of the WPC Dota 2 action between Titan and Tongfu. I'm Gods. He's Zayuri. How we doing, man?
I'm doing very well, enjoying my first night of Chinese casting here. So
Yeah.
maybe not my first night, but first in a long stretch. So getting this sleep schedule adjusted, and
Yeah.
Titan, man, they've been tearing it up. I got to cast them in MPGL a little while ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. So I got my taste of Titan then, but they are on fire tonight, 3-0 to get things kicked off. Tongfu will have one more chance to go blow for blow, and well, we'll see what they have planned here, Gods.
Yeah, it is the best of 2 series, so even if Tongfu win this, it's just going to end a 1-1 draw. Every win worth the same in a big round-robin group stage. 12 teams in the Asian division, 10 Chinese, 2 from Southeast Asia, being Titan and Orange. And right now, Titan, they're 6-1 now. They're looking really good. They're pretty much, as far as points and wins goes, they're first, but they've also played the most matches. So
Yeah, that's always a good place to be.
holding on to that, it just gives them a big confidence factor. Like going on when they have to verse DK, IG, LGD, it's like, well, we're already doing really well. Got a lot of wins under our belt. They'll have a lot of momentum moving it forward into those matches.
So, taking a look at these initial bans, it will be a Lycan and Invoker banned out by Titan, and Tongfu will take out Nature's Prophet and Bat Rider. Pretty straightforward. We've seen that same cluster of 4 heroes, kind of the 5 heroes plus Centaur, and whoever is left over, it seems to be the first pick. And Centaur has been first picked now 3 of the 4 games tonight, and last game we saw that first pick Lycan, which proved pretty potent on the side of Titan.
Yeah, the Centaur really is the go-to offlaner in the Eastern scene right now. I think it really became popular with DK back in Signer Cup, where they were pretty much first, second picking Centaur in most of their games, and now it's completely caught on. Titan going to respond, start things off with an Ancient Apparition, which, well, pretty much goes without saying, one of the kind of better support heroes in the current patch.
I kind of want to look up his win rate right now. I'm kind of curious. Is he one of those heroes? Does he like translate to wins? He's a good support, but does he actually win games?
He's just a 50-50 kind of support, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
the Shadow Shaman's the big one. He's the one who's getting like 60% win rate, I think it is. Like,
on Dire. It's when he's on Dire. So
well, even in general, I think he's like 55% overall.
okay.
I want to say. I think his overall win rate's fantastic as well.
Okay, let's take a look here. So we
get the Shadow Shaman up as well. Shadow Shaman has been second picked by Titan as well on that note. So they get the AA Shadow Shaman support duo, which is pretty damn powerful. But yeah, looking at 6.8, I think Shadow Shaman's doing really well as far as win rates goes.
Okay, let's take a gander here. Working the old stats machine.
Let's see what we got.
And Shadow Shaman on 6.8, he's sitting pretty at, about a 58% win rate. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
And that's a big sample size of games.
260 games. That's significant.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of that is coming on the Dire side. K-Pop Toast's last told me it's something like 65% went on Dire and like 48-ish went on Radiant.
Okay.
So still a big disparity there, but and looking at Ancient Apparition, he is actually dead even, 50% on 6.8 with 450 games played.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
I don't feel like
so.
he ever controls. He doesn't control a game as much as Shadow Shaman, but he's a bit more just generally consistent than a Shadow Shaman. Like Shadow Shaman doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I like Shadow Shaman in all situations. Like even if you're behind, he can just push down towers and kind of look for trades. So
I would go so far as to say that I think Ancient Apparition is a little bit overrated right now in our current meta. I don't think he's as good as some team. Like I don't know that he's necessarily a first pick level support.
Okay.
Compared to some of the other, he just doesn't win games. We see so frequently where maybe he gets a couple kills the Chilling Touch early on, and then he just falls off. And if your team isn't knocking down towers or doing much in the mid game, you're weak sauce, man. You're a free kill. That's what we saw last game. He was food.
Yeah. And there's some teams who aren't playing him all that much. I think the big one I've seen lately is IG, who they've been playing this hero we see Tongfu get. Tongfu get Rubik. That's something IG have been picking up and prioritizing over the AA, over the Shadow Shaman. Chuan loves his Rubik, and IG have been playing a lot of Rubik, so I think he's still pretty much as strong as ever, even with the slight nerfs that he's gotten over the last couple of patches here and there. His spell still nerfs with the cooldown. His just general nerfs as well, with the telekinesis cooldown as well. But
yeah, Rubik has a pretty comparable win rate as well. It's about 48.9 with 400 games. So
I mean, to me, like 49 versus 50% win rate's like
it's nothing. Yeah, that's like just within variance. You're within that first standard deviation, Gods.
Especially when you consider like as a support hero, how much influence do supports have over the outcomes of games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, with that said, teams are picking them up at the start of the draft, but that's just because supports don't reveal your draft as much. Whereas if you start picking up your carry or your solo mid first 2 picks, these heroes get counters. You don't counter support heroes. You counter core heroes. So that's the reason why teams pick up the supports to start off drafts.
Very true. Now, next ban's coming out, looking pretty straightforward as well. Tongfu will ban out the Lifestealer as well as Nyx Assassin, and Titan will take out the Sand King. And we'll see what they want to do with their 4th ban here in just a moment. Sand King is another support that I don't know. What do you think about Sand King? Is he like 3rd ban? Does that feel about right for him?
I think it's all right, especially if your opponents they need another support and they want to go they've got their range support and they want something that goes with that range support, which can be Sand King. I think he's actually one of the supports who I think is a bit overrated for just because teams play him super greedy and try and get all the jungle, but they start losing their lanes because of it, and that's where I feel I have seen Sand King not do all that well as of late.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that game earlier today where he may have gotten that blink super fast by the 8-minute or 9-minute mark or something like that, but still just couldn't have really that big of an impact. It still is sometimes difficult to get off a really good epicenter, and just still, a hero that he's sort of like a double whammy where he requires a really strong Sand King player to put him in the right position, be in the right place to channel the epicenter, and get those big, devastating stuns and whatnot off. But at the same time, your opposition also have to make it easy for you. They need to be in a position where they're grouped up and Sand King's hiding in the trees, and he's just not always the easiest hero to execute with.
Well, we'll go towards a Clockwork pick from Titan in the 3rd spot. So they get their offlane, and I think they're getting a bit worried because Centaur was taken, Nyx Assassin was banned out, so they needed some offlane hero for a hire. So they decide just to make sure they can secure it now.
Yeah, and we'll see what Tongfu want to do with their next choice. Still a lot of heroes on the board, and wow, that Clockwork win rate here in WPC not looking so hot. 0-3. 100% lose. That's unfortunate. I really like Clockwork.
These stats are so meaningless, though. You look at just this tournament as a whole with such a small sample size and so few games. It's like I couldn't care less about a win rate like that. I don't think you look at that and say, "Oh, they shouldn't have picked Clockwork. What have they done?"
Yeah,
they're doomed.
I look at that and just sort of giggle at, like, why are they showing that stat? Like 0-3 to Clockwork so far in this. It's such a small sample. It tells you basically no information. You know Clockwork is a good hero. He's not a 0% win rate type guy.
That's my deal with a lot. I feel like the same thing happens with the Dream League stats where they combine 3 heroes win rate and you're like, oh, these 3 heroes together are only a 33% win game. They've lost 2 out of their 3 games played. I'm like, such a small sample size. All the heroes are good. They actually fit together just fine. These stats mean nothing at all.
You're at a point where you're just hyper analyzing numbers and looking for patterns that just don't really exist. It's all about that sample size before you can really.
My favorite thing when Puppy has co-cast a few games. He used to co-cast here and there, and he would always say when kind of probe oh, why are you picking this and how do these heroes work together? And he's like, as a captain, you just pick shit that you like. He was just so he was so brutally honest. We just pick shit that's good that we play well with, or as long as our lanes are okay and we've got strong heroes. We don't think about some crazy synergy between heroes during the draft, or we don't pick a counter with some really unique finesse thing in mind. It's just pick good heroes. We make sure we have decent lanes, and a general game plan. Obviously maybe go more early game focus, maybe go more late game focus. But he was just very there's actually not as much thought as people think that goes into the draft. Was his whole point, at least from his perspective. Maybe some teams.
At least not for Navi,
yeah, maybe some captains are super analytical about the drafting stage and the small little fine points. And I think there's some teams like Cloud9 and even Fluff was probably like that with Liquid and stuff. But I think if you look at your teams like Navi, they're just very.
I think that fits the Navi playstyle as well. They're very chaotic. They thrive in an environment where things are different from the norm. They have some sort of a weird makeup of heroes. They have an odd item choice, and yeah. But anyway, looking at this draft, Titan, they'll go ahead and grab the Naga Siren with their 4th pick. And based on the fact that they've got a Shadow Shaman and Ancient Apparition, I guess that means it will be either a solo mid Naga or a position 1 Naga, which is a little bit interesting. We were just mentioning earlier today that carry Naga isn't so much of a thing in this meta. So
yeah, Titan do it every now and then, I guess. So
so is that probably a Yamate hero, or is that a...
KYXY
hero. Okay.
Generally in the safe lane. Titan actually don't do it this mid so much, but
Okay.
I think they see the Spectre and think, okay, they want to go for a greedy carry. Let's get one which is just as greedy and can be even harder to deal with Spectre because of his Ratdota playstyle. So.
And Visage will be the fourth choice here for Tongfu, a support that hasn't gotten as much love today as I would have thought. Seeing Visage fourth picked is still... See, I look at Ancient Apparition and think, yeah, that's a good hero. Yeah, he fills a niche, but Visage is just all around better. More damage, more map control, mobile wards. You've got stuns from the familiars. You've got a slow with Grave Chill. I think Visage is on a whole nother tier compared to AA, but maybe that's just me.
Well, they're both good, I think. I think, like you say, AA is maybe a little overrated and Visage underrated, but I wouldn't say Visage is better support myself.
Really? You don't think so?
No. I mean...
I think just the global... they're both global heroes.
The teams are all first picking AA and
for
the most part ignoring Visage. I think I wouldn't question 90% of the pro captains in the scene as far as what's the best support
fair
hero.
way to look at it.
Not to say... but I think definitely Visage is still very good. You look at a team like Empire, they run Visage all the time for Always Wanna Fly. He plays a mean Visage, so... You've got Cloud9 who still play quite a lot of Visage. And I think it just comes down to Visage is a slightly more high skill cap hero, whereas AA it's like throw Ice Blast, hit some Ice Blast, you're good to go.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true. There is an ease of execution difference there where you need that top-notch Visage player who can micro and not get overwhelmed with staggering stuns on the familiars and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that it can be hard to read into sometimes where there is something to be said for that kind of flavor of the month syndrome where some heroes just go through this rotation of what's hot right now, and some of that is just subjective with how teams are running things. And
with the Slack pick, it may be a Naga mid though. Now, when I've seen Titan run the Naga Siren, it has been a KYXY. So may put Yamate onto the Slack. Maybe we see a solo mid Naga Siren. This is definitely a different style and kind of draft out of Titan.
I guess Slark mid is, I don't know.
It's done by a few teams, but
yeah.
Titan have the option. They'll see what goes mid with a TA pick from Tongfu. I keep spoiling picks. Keep forgetting. I'm sorry. I don't know. Who do you want mid against TA? Naga does okay versus TA. I mean, you just have to spam Riptide Bottle Crow. That's where Naga does okay mid against anyone, but maybe they just do Naga safe lane with Slack mid. Dark Pact has many instances of damage. I think it actually destroys the refraction for the most part.
It does, yeah. It cuts through. I don't know how many instances it is off the top of my head, but it's at least like 4 or 5, if not more.
We'll see. It's going to be Yamate on the Slack, it looks like. So Yamate's played a big pool of heroes today. He's played Storm, he's played Squab, he's played a bit of everything, really.
Yeah, he certainly has. Now, this Tongfu lineup, they certainly have the carry advantage here, but this seems to be kind of the formula for today for Titan, where their oppositions might have a late-game carry advantage, but they pick these pretty aggressive mid-game heroes that just hit this stride where, they'll have this Slark online who maybe he'll go for a Shadow Blade first, right around that like level 8 to 10 mark, where he'll be moving around, making plays happen. Your Shadow Shaman will be kind of peeking in that window as well. Ancient Apparition will have Chilling Touch leveled up, should probably have an ultimate by that point, and even if you would rather have that Naga just farming up for a fast Radiance, that's a window of opportunity where she'll be able to move around and help pressure towers with her illusions and also utilize the ultimate to her heart's content. And of course, you've got Clockwork to make plays in the mid-game as well. And I worry that even though Tongfu have some scary heroes, like while this Spectre and TA are still trying to farm their core items, Titan might be able to take a big edge over them as they have previously today.
Yep. Well, we'll see exactly what they have in mind. I'm going to introduce the two teams, starting with Team Titan on the dire side. It's going to be Yamate and WP playing on the Slack. He looks to be actually headed towards the safe lane. Extinct is going to be playing the Ancient Apparition. We've got Net on the support Shadow Shaman. In the mid lane will be KYXY on Naga Siren. And then finally, in the off lane, Ohio playing the off lane Clockwork.
All right, so Titan switching things up a little bit with their lane roles here. On the Radiant side, we'll have Team Tongfu, and their position 1 will be Spectre, played by Sorry Fox. He'll be supported by XBG on the Rubik, and also joined by Q, playing on the Visage. In the mid lane, it will be U9 on the Templar Assassin, and in the off lane will be MT, playing on the Centaur Warrunner.
Cool. Fun fact, U9 is actually a Chinese search engine.
Really?
Yeah. Not quite like Google level, but it's more like a Yahoo or something.
Okay, so Google's ugly cousin.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's U9. I'm not sure why you'd name your nickname like after a search engine,
So,
but
do you say his name just like U9, or is it
yeah.
U9, or what is?
I say U9. I think it's just because it's easier.
Yeah, is
I'm
there
not
significance to the triple U?
not sure. I think that's just how it is on the website.
Ah, okay, I gotcha.
I don't know if there's much rhyme or reason to
Sponsored by the search engine. Cool.
it. Personal sponsorship. I wish Google would personally sponsor me.
That would be next level.
I would take it even if it was Yahoo, man. I'll take some Yahoo
Yeah,
dollars.
I would take pretty much any personal sponsorship at this point in my career, I think.
Yeah,
But
that's a good point.
yeah. But Rubik will grab that 0-0 rune. It is a haste. He scurries his way into the mid lane, but won't be able to do too much here. KYXY did start off with this pretty greedy opening build, a couple of pooled tangos just looking for that fast bottle, and, well, he'll find it. And that adorable little courier will bring that bottle down. I don't know what courier this is, but it is a
I
cutie.
thought you were looking at the Radiant one. The good old Shagbark. The Dire one is the speed demon, I think.
Ah, okay.
This is a really old. This is a really old courier. This is like one of the first new ones that came out.
He runs so funny. He's just
He's-
he's speedy, man.
he's pretty awesome.
He's cruising. Yeah, that guy's. I'm pretty bad with the couriers. I'm a naked Greevil kind of guy. I don't like to complicate it.
It's the auspicious speed demon. So it's actually a newer one. 'Cause it's the
okay.
auspicious one. So it's from the New Bloom Festival. But
Gotcha. Ohio, maybe in a little trouble here. Will actually get telekinesis pulled out of his own cogs, and
TP.
he'll just pour it out. Smart play.
To his tier 1 as well. So it
Radiant's
doesn't even have to
bottom
go all the way
tower
home.
is under
Stays
attack.
out near where he can actually be effective. He will camp out the 2-minute rune. Hope for something bottom that can be of use. But for now, he's actually done a pretty good job just wasting Tongfu's time at this bottom lane. And will not be rewarded with a rune for his trouble.
Yeah, and Visage still hasn't even skilled anything, so well, could have been a kill right there. I guess if he got Grave Chill, they probably could have chased him down. Made the right choice to pour it out.
I'm going to get a D-ward off here. So Net is denying some vision from Tongfu. They've got a River Ward at bottom lane, so they've got both their wards on the rune, so they'll at least still have some rune vision.
Yep, very true. Now, in this mid lane, I think TA should have a pretty big advantage here, but Naga is really holding her own. 11-0 on the KYXY, and TA now 12-3. Well, 12-4 as he racks up another last hit. But, I mean, is this one of these lanes where TA should have a pretty big edge, or is Naga just a little too irritating to deal with easily?
Naga just bottle crows. Well, any hero bottle. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
Bottle crow just makes mid lane a wash so often. Very rarely do you see huge one-sided CS stomps. We saw one last game with Yamate over the Alchemist, but even I guess that's because Alchemist doesn't have a good farming spell. Acid Spray is damage over time. It's not like a nuke like a Riptide or a DK Breathe Fire.
Right.
Any hero with a spammable nuke can go mid, which is what your Naga, Siren, and your DKs are.
And he also did luck out. That 2-minute rune was a regeneration, which KYXY bottled up. So that made his opening even easier here in terms of these last hits. And, well, good news for Titan to let Naga get those early items up. Probably looking for an early ring of Aquila, then straight into the Relic, at least if he can get away with it.
Yep. Well, for now, yeah, most lane's going pretty well for Titan. And they've got Yamate on a farming Slark, which I don't mind. I feel like Slark's pretty experience dependent more than farm dependent. So I'd like to see the support spending more time going for pulls, stacking. They should look to give Yamate as much solo XP as possible because Slark really wants those early levels.
Yeah, I completely agree. Slark is one of these heroes that eventually he needs items to really scale, but there's that kind of like end of the laning stage window where he can do a lot of damage with basically no items. You know, maybe Phase Boots working towards a Drums, an Orb of Venom, and a Magic Wand, and he can be picking up solo kills on those supports, and even mid-heroes he can gank pretty effectively. So getting that level 6 is definitely a priority, and then usually his farm comes more from hero kills than just straight farming, sort of like almost like a Nyx assassin in some ways, except a little bit more carry oriented. We'll see Ohio actually rotate towards the mid lane, but
he
they'll
loves
scout
to
it
do
out.
these rotations towards mid. Like you say, they scouted out. So the supports swung in as well here. I don't think, Ohio's not going to fight this one, and Tongfu actually wasting their time bringing both their supports in. Ohio does such a great job creating space for his team. Every single game I see him. And he even TP's bottom just to get himself these experience in last hit. So if he just gets like three last hits here, he's made up for that TP. Not to mention the experience. So sure he was like safe in mid lane, but this TP well worth it.
Yeah, any space you can create for the Naga, all the better. And even if Naga can trade evenly with TA in this opening phase, it's good news. And if there's any time that you want to support your Naga, it's pre-level 6. Once she gets that Song of the Siren, she's a lot harder to gank. You basically have to have enough stuns that you can space them out and just burst her down before Song of the Siren can come out. But she's just about 1 or 2 creeps away from that ultimate, and that makes KYXY much more difficult to shut down, at least once every 3 minutes.
Yep. Yamete, he's got himself up to his treads, Orb of Venom. He's just going to be 1v1ing the Centaur because the Titan supports. They've swung mid lane. They're looking for a kill on U9, and U9 out of mana.
Yeah,
he can't even melt this one.
He's in big trouble. First blood even comes out onto the Naga Siren. That is a worst-case scenario for Tongfu right there. Great read from Titan and a good rotation.
Naga picked up a Bracer, so KYX not going to go the Ring of Aquila Radiance Rush. It's actually going to be maybe a Drum of Endurance along the way. No real other reason to pick up a casual Bracer. You may as well just go Aquila if you want the early stat.
Yeah, exactly. That is definitely interesting. I mean, we've seen Nagas go for the Drum of Endurance before Radiance build, but it tends to be games more so when the Naga's struggling a little bit, doesn't have free farm, or just feels like they'll get picked on a bit more and needs that HP buffer because they're going to be taking harassment. And, you know, the more you die while you're pulling up that gold, the harder it is to get the Radiance. I don't know that this is a game where that'll be necessary, but yeah, it gives him that mid-game presence a bit more. It looks like, ooh, Ohio, he's going to get scouted out by XBG. He'll get telekinesed back.
Ooh, doesn't it? Okay, he has, has already tangoed through these trees. He'll be okay, but yeah. Spectre with no boots has 0 killing power. Rush the Vanguard, which you don't really need this. You may as well go phase boots before your Vanguard because he's had the easiest lane in the world. There's no real reason to get this Vanguard when you're not fighting. He's not level. He'll hit level 6 now, so maybe he'll start fighting. But I don't like this Vanguard rush when you don't need it before the 7-minute mark.
Yeah, we'll see a rotation towards the mid lane here from MT on that Centaur. He's only level 5, so of course no Stampede online will make this a little bit more difficult if they want to try and gank the Naga. But Naga is out of mana right now. Does have Drum of Endurance up. And another 300 gold or so. Yep. Very interesting Naga build. But, yeah, I do agree with you about the Vanguard on Spectre. And I don't want to judge it too prematurely. We'll see an initiation onto the Centaur as they start to chase him down. So maybe he'll haunt in and look to get a bit more active. If he uses that haunt and puts the Vanguard to good use, then I understand it a bit more. But, yeah, we'll hold that thought once again. Song of the Siren comes out as they try and gank him in the mid. There will be a setup here on the U9. Ohio comes in, does connect with the Cogs. There's a Dust Burn. Templar Assassin in big trouble. She'll fall. Clockwork the one to grab that last hit. There's the Haunt in from Spectre. Shadow Shaman in big trouble. One more auto attack ought to do it. Rubik will secure that kill, but now Slark joining the party. He just wants to finish off this Visage and won't be able to do it. He'll be forced to retreat and may not survive. Yeah, he's going to go down. That'll be a 2-for-1 going the way of Tongfu.
Yeah, the Hoofstomp catching him in the Shadow Dance and another kill. So yeah, 2-for-1 Tongfu's favor, so decent engagement there. That's where I feel like if Spectre had phase boots there, he maybe chases down and kills the AA. That's where I don't like this Vanguard, because he didn't take any damage that fight. He wasn't focused at any point. He didn't need the Vanguard in lane, but he has this like big waste of gold item, which he doesn't need until later on.
Yeah.
Like get at least rush your phase boots and then get the Vanguard. That's one thing, but
yeah, I have to say Merlini has turned me into a little bit of a Vanguard hater.
Well, I'm not hating on the Vanguard. Like I think Vanguard's an okay item to get on Spectre. It's a good item to get on Spectre, especially if you get it right off the bat. I don't like going Radiance then Vanguard, but getting a Vanguard early is fine. But getting a Vanguard right off the bat, if you're in a tough lane and being harassed a lot, it's one thing. But he had the easiest lane in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a very situational item, and so far in this game, it hasn't proven to be particularly useful for this situation. He could be well on his way to a Relic right now and be feeling pretty comfortable against this Naga. Generally a little bit more of a risky build, but Titan have really put no resources into pressuring this Spectre. Their strategy seems to be like, we'll let Spectre free farm, we'll try and get our Naga some free farm, and we're confident that our hard carry will outcarry your hard carry. And to me that says Spectre needs to go ultimate green mode, not early game fighting.
Well, I think there's pros and cons to both. It's just we'll see Spectre get up to 900 gold, probably buy those phase boots still, but just such a slow phase boots up. The phase boots are such a good item for damage up, or chasing, and yeah, we'll see Naga Siren with a drum. So Naga Siren actually has gone more early game fighting. Has the 2 points in the mirror images, has the 1 point in the ensnare, and for now, it looks like we'll go back to a more farming state of play.
And looks like TA off to a pretty normal start here. Does have phase boots now to go with the bottle and magic wand. What's on the courier? That's just going to be a bracer. So it looks like a pretty similar or a pretty straightforward build here. Boots or phase into drums for the Templar Assassin KYXY. Nope, hasn't picked up anything else. We'll just grab this haste rune here at the 10-minute mark, and Naga's life has been pretty good this game. KYXY has grabbed at least 3 of the 5 runes that have spawned, and the first one went to Rubik. So aside from that 0-0 spawn, he's gotten quite a few of these runes.
Yeah, I think he's almost gotten every single one. MT now, often in the jungle here, deciding he can't lane too much at top. He's hit level 6. There's a nice little trick where he drops his Trenkles, picks them back up when he's done. And he's maybe going to go looking for a bit of a gank or a roam around the map now that he's hit level 6.
Yeah, it looks like Titan may gear up for a push towards this top tier 1 tower. It is a 4-man rotation. Rasta only level 4, just about to hit 5, so no Mass Serpent wards out quite yet, but they've still got plenty of pushing power. Naga will rotate in as well with a haste rune online. Glyph comes out from the Radiant, and there's a Stampede available here from the Centaur.
There's also a song, though.
Yeah, perhaps they'll try and engage, but it won't be easy.
They get a Hex down here. There could be a pounce to follow. Song is just going to be popped here. Looks like Titan either want to set up for a team fight or to use this to retreat. And now, they're actually, trying to set this one up. They're going to pop the cogs here, force U9 away, and they're going to kill off the easy targets in the backline. Visage as well as the Spectre. Not so much of an easy target. He's tanky with the Vanguard. Maybe not tanky enough. Sentinel goes in looking for another hook top. Not going to find it right now. 1-for-1 trade so far. The chase is on. Wants Extinct. With the phase boots, maybe able to chase him down. The trap going to provide some extra slow, and Extinct's in all sorts of trouble. 2 points in the Desolate. Rubik gets the last hit with the Fade Bolt. And once again, Tongfu trade favorably.
Yeah, and this tower 4 hit points. I think Titan should have just put a little bit more resources into finishing off that tower, and would have earned them a pretty penny, but instead will be the easiest deny Tongfu are going to find this game. And still get a minor gold boost, but certainly not what it would be. Slark, he does have that Shadow Amulet, being very sneaky here. We'll wait for this Rubik to walk by, and now he'll reveal himself. This should be a pretty easy kill, I think. There's the pounce forward, and yep, well played by Yamate. Very sneaky with that Shadow Amulet. It's not very often you see players even going for the Shadow Amulet first, and if they do, utilizing it to any real significant fashion. But there, it secures him a kill.
Yeah, nice bit of play. Titan they need some little kills like that. That's where their lineup needs to excel. Get Slark and Clockwork roaming around, getting kills while Naga Siren farms that Radiance. And you don't really want Naga coming to these fights, and that's when Naga was at that top fight using Song, getting involved. Hasn't actually died at all this game, but this Naga's farm is 16 CS behind the Spectre, which is not what you'd expect considering Naga Siren can farm all over the map using Illusion.
And rotation down bottom. Yamate on the other side of the trees looking for initiation. They'll find Spectre. There's the Vortex to start things off, and oh, that Stampede. That'll buy him the time he needs. Hex was going to be an easy pounce connection, but instead it is off the mark. Spectre survives, and now Yamate will be forced to retreat.
Decent chunk of damage there, but not quite enough. They couldn't quite get the hoof stomp to land, otherwise he may have been in trouble from a double edge. But Titan, once again, Naga Siren coming to these fights, and this is where KYXY, go top, go mid, farm your jungle using illusions. There's some big stacks waiting for him, but he's not farming it at the time being, which is something I think needs to change. Yeah,
and this is why that drum build, this build that Naga's gone for here, where you just go brown boots into drums, it's nice to get yourself a little bit more sustained. You get a slightly bigger mana pool as well, but I mean, if he didn't have this pretty big item, he would be just about at a relic right now, and his life would be getting a little bit easier. With Naga, it's all about getting that Radiance. It's kind of like your Hand of Midas or your Battle Fury. That's your farming tool that lets you get out of control. The Radiance isn't what's scary. It's the items that you're able to farm with the Radiance that are scary.
Tier 1 mid tower goes down. Titan have found a bit of a trade for the Tier 1 bottom, but looks like Tongfu aren't done. They want to push this Tier 2. Ahayo's actually poised behind them. Does have a hook chop, although he does need to get closer. And unfortunately, Tier Illusion going to expire. So we'll see if Titan look to fight this or not. Because right now, Clockwork still just sitting in the trees. He's actually going to run towards him here. Hook shot in, goes on XBG. Catches out 2 in the cogs here. He may just pay for this one with his life. Where's the backup? Ahayo taking a ton of damage. He gets blown up to start the fight. 2 heroes trapped in the cog. Ensnared in U9. 1-for-1 trade so far. And Tongfu maybe realizing they need to retreat with a Stampede. They possibly can. The Pound's going to keep the Sentinel locked in place. Doesn't get off that next stun here. Buyback from the Visage here. Tongfu want to re-engage with the buyback, but not going to get a chance to do so. They're just forced to retreat. So Titan get a decent trade there, throwing away the Clockwork's life for that fight, though.
Yeah, it was kind of an odd exchange. They come out ahead, and it works out for them, but I don't know, just not very well coordinated. We'll see the Visage Familiars fly over the tree line, scout out exactly what Titan have in mind, and with that, U9 as well as Q will just move into the trees. They need to be a little careful here. Rasta wards come down. They'll get spotted by the Rocket Flare. And maybe they'll initiate, and Snare coming out onto the TA. And nope, just going to clear up the creep wave and let these Rasta wards go to work.
Yeah, ulti's going to hit both these two heroes. U9 didn't even have his refraction up, so this is risky for Tongfu. They're going to lose the Visage first. And
Dire's middle tower.
not even the Shadow, just
Let's
the...
finish him off, yeah. There's a hook shot in onto the Centaur. He'll get stuck inside the cogs. Shadow Shaman did fall, but they secured that kill onto the Centaur. Now the Familiar's coming in, doing some decent damage to Ohio. Slark will connect with the pounce onto the Rubik. And around the backside...
Spectre's trapped. He's out of mana too from the
Oh,
cogs.
no.
Is under attack.
Spectre could be in some trouble here.
Yeah, he's just straight up dead. AI Splash will help the system up. KYXY out of mana, and AI Splash gets the kill there. High almost dying for it, but triple kill for Yamate. He's
Wow.
been like this series MVP. I think game one the Chinese streamer awarded MVP to Net. Game two it was to Ohio and the Nyx Assassin. But it feels like looking at today as a whole, Yamate has been the standout player.
He's been just a consistent playmaker throughout the entire series. His Queen of Pain was very impressive, and here is Slark, like you were mentioning. He's played an array of different heroes, and Slark is a much different playstyle from like a solo mid Queen of Pain, just a completely different presence around the map, a different role, and he's handling them both with elegance and grace. This Slark, all of a sudden, he's got a Shadow Blade and another 2,000 gold to play with as he picks up a regeneration rune here at the 16-minute mark.
Yeah, and looking towards some of these Tongfu heroes, they're just looking so poor and under farm. You can see it again here. The A Ice Blast, like those two heroes were just trapped under the tower. I'm not sure what they were really doing there, like waiting for Titan just to pincer them in. Titan had the vision, the scouting from a rocket flare, sets up an easy Ice Blast, and that entire sequence of play was just something that should not have happened for Tongfu.
Yeah, and good use of the Rasta wards as well, just to tick down the tower while that fight was breaking out, and they secured that kill, and they just split up the forces of Tongfu very effectively. That mana burn on Spectre was kind of the nail in the coffin towards the end.
And like you say, with the Serpent wards there, not only work on the tower, but it kind of prevents their retreat. Like, they're trapped under the tower because those Serpent wards are there, blocking their retreat as well. So, yeah.
Good positioning. Broke up the fight and allowed Titan to take that numbers advantage.
It was like a 5-0 almost. I'm wondering, like, who actually died on the Titan side during that fight?
The Clockwork died to start off the whole thing,
Okay.
but then he came back, and after that, the Shadow Shaman got picked off at the end too.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, pretty minimal losses. Looks like we could see another fight break out here. Hookshot connects onto the Rubik, and he'll just get obliterated by the Ethershock. AA Ultimate flies off the mark, but they may pay for it with their Clockwork. Right now, a 1-for-1. Stampede forward. Shackles come out onto the Centaur. Keeps the Ancient Apparition alive a little bit longer. Rasta wards come down, doing a fair bit of damage here. MT will actually fall to the wrath of the wards. Sorry Fox, alive for now. Does have another dagger up. Will move into the trees. And I think he'll be safe here unless, Slark will bump right into him. And now Sorry Fox is in some trouble.
Yeah, the Familiar stun looks like it's on cooldown. 10 seconds to go. The Pounce will land. Sorry Fox not even trying to dodge that one, it looked like. And Yamate with a Dark Pack gets the kill. Wicked 6 streak for Yamate. 7-1 this game. Across the day, he's averaging like 7 to 8 kills a game. And 2 of the games he had no deaths. And I think the other 3 games he's had like 1 death.
Yeah, an absurd KD.
Oh, the other one game, sorry.
Yeah, that Queen of Pain game, he was on a perfect game until at the very end he died right before they tapped out. So, yeah, some pretty clutch plays. And one of those trades where it was a 2-for-3, a little bit sloppy from Titan, but they still got the better of it. They traded a support in their Clockwork for the hard carry Spectre, the offlane Centaur, and the Rubik to get things going. So, you know.
Templar Assassin. Oh, no, not in trouble at top lane. Rocket Flare going to go flying over. They know it's invis somewhere. Yeah. Although they're also not sure if he TP's out or not at this one, so it looks like they'll just play things standard. No detection here, but it's mid lane. Slark getting a solo kill on Rubik using the Shadow Blade.
Yeah, he had a double damage on as well, so making that kill a little bit easier for him.
Well, he's a bit out of mana now, unfortunately, but...
This is where Slark just starts to snowball a little bit, and because he's so far ahead, he can move around and create a lot of space for this Naga, who all of a sudden, that's a shiny new Sacred Relic in the Inventory Gods. Still a little ways off finishing the Radiance, but getting the Relic is half the battle, and decently timed given that KYXY did opt for the early drum.
Yep. So, TA will finally TP out from the side shop at top lane, and he's actually got the Radiant. So.
It was on the Courier. I'm sorry, that's my mistake. This is a really well-timed Radiance then.
Yeah. Comes with a Drum of Endurance as well. So for KYXY, great farm to have right now. And Titan, all in all, they're looking really good. 16 kills to 8, about a 6k gold lead. Experience 6k as well. This is just a pretty sizable lead. Is surmountable if Tongfu play things well, get a few good team fights, but in general, this is not going to be an easy one to turn around.
Yeah, there's also a Blink Dagger on the Shadow Shaman, so that makes initiation much easier for Titan. And even the Ancient Apparition, he's working towards an Egg Scepter, and this is that more classic AA build. We've seen a lot of different takes on that hero today, between Power Treads first, the Yules as the primary item, and this is that classic Brown Boots straight into Egg Scepter, and I think it makes a lot of sense. We'll see the roster boards actually pick off one of the Visage Familiars here as they drop them on this Tier 2 tower in the mid lane. I think the wards will get cleaned up, but Titan looking for the opening.
Yeah, I was thinking about a hook shot from the high ground there. I think he realized it could have likely been his own death, even with the 4 stuff out. As, well, looks like Titan. I like this. They can do this 4-1 split, have 4 heroes kind of pushing mid, leave the Naga Siren bottom to pressure the lane, and just keep on splitting up Tongfu, causing them to just take more and more damage on towers across the map. So even though the Serpent Wards don't get the mid tower, they do some decent damage.
And, yeah, getting that Visage just tipped the scales a little bit. The hook shot actually off the mark here in the top lane on the Spectre, but he is getting stalked by this Slark. And he'll go ahead and engage. Pounce will leash. AA ultimate will fly. Connects onto the Spectre.
Ooh.
Won't be enough for a kill, but they do a fair bit of damage. And, of course, they harass him back, force him back to the well.
Not bad.
Not bad. There is also a relic in the inventory of Spectre, so...
This is, to me, the one possible, like, salvation for Tongfu. It's going to be this Spectre.
Yeah. The problem is he's already about 1,800 gold behind the Naga, and Naga has the Radiance complete. Spectre still a good 800 gold or so away from finishing the Radiance, and that's really where things are scary. But if there's one hero that can turn it around, it is definitely the Spectre. And I guess to be fair, Tongfu do have a little bit of a late game carry advantage across the Spectre and the TA, but unfortunately TA's farm is rather lackluster, and we'll see Spectre just non-stop harassment, and he's going to die right here.
These global ganks, the Slark goes Shadow Blading in, they use the AA Ice Blast, the Clockwork Rocket Flare. Meanwhile, mid lane could be in a bit of trouble here. Actually blinked in, but he'll get 4 stuffed away. They tried that same gank, which they just got top lane at bottom as well, but missed the Spectre by a little bit. This time around, the AA Ice Blast, Clockwork Rocket Flare hits it. Slark gets an easy kill.
Yeah, and oh, here we go. Initiation onto the TA. Hookshot connects, and we'll be stuck inside the cogs. Meld Strike comes off, and yeah, they'll settle for the Rubik instead.
Nice little consolation prize. They get a tier 2 tower as well. That's a fantastic thing to get. And a godlike streak for Yamate. He's 9-1. Tier 3 tower going to get siege now as well. The Serpent Wards get dropped, just level 1 Serpent Wards, but we may see them just break the base here.
Yeah, Glyph comes out, and they'll be running low on creeps. Yamate will tank it up a little bit. They've only got 1 ranged creep left. These wards won't be able to do quite as much damage as they'd like, and they will get cleaned up. Still half damage on a tier 3 tower, and 2 kills out of it. Not too shabby for Titan, and most importantly, they're keeping this Spectre down. Now Naga is a full 3,000 gold ahead of this Spectre. He still is only less than halfway to the Radiance. Naga just racking up the farm, raking in the money, and I don't know, things looking a little bit grim for Tongfu here, gods.
Yeah, fantastic for Titan, who are going to be looking to pick up their 7th WPC win here in the group stage, or the round robin stage. It's actually a really weird WPC format. I say weird, just unconventional. Like, you've got your Eastern and your Western qualifications. Like, 2 teams of the 5 from West will qualify, and then 6 teams from China out of the 12. And then you go into, like, another group stage, where there's 2 groups of 4 teams.
That is kind of weird.
And I think the way the groups are done is they put, in Group A is like the 3 best Chinese, the 3 top seeds from China and the top seed from Europe, all in the same group.
Oh, so there's like one monster group.
Yes, they have a monster group and then like the new, well, the weaker group, which is still team to advance. And then after the group stage, you have it goes into a single elimination bracket with teams from the top group match up against teams from the bottom group. So even if you finish last in the top group, you go up against the team who finished first in the second group. So in theory, it's still an easy match.
We'll see Templar Assassin get picked off here, but that's a crazy format.
Yeah,
it's like group stage into group stage into bracket.
And just having a group stage where it's like all the top, I mean they're all top teams. So having the best teams all in the same group, while the weaker teams in another group is just a...
But the second group stage isn't for elimination. That's just for seeding into the single elim bracket.
Yeah, you have to look at it as like seeding matches.
Yeah, it's a group stage into basically like seeding prelims and then into that final bracket where it's all on the line. Okay. But I guess that's a good way to filter out the weak teams and make sure that team that wins, they went through the ranks, they went through the trials, and well deserving of that first place prize. But context of this game, Radiant will be up on the Spectre, but the other big item pickup is in the inventory of the Slark. Yamate grabs himself a Scotty after that Shadow Blade, and with that, Titan will just rotate into the Roche Pit. Roster wards come down, and this should be an easy Aegis.
Yeah, it feels like this Radiance from Spectre's just come too late. 25 minutes in the game, more or less, and with just Vanguard, he's still very squishy here. Has the max Dispersion, which is a skill that scales fantastic the later the game goes, but he needs to get tanky. He needs a Manta style, needs like Heart of Tarath, something big to go with this Radiance of his.
And interesting. Naga's first item after Radiance will be a Lincoln. And
Okay.
not a bad choice here to tank up a little bit. Definitely not bad for the illusions, but strange is usually Naga's go for at the very least a casual Yasha or the BOTs or both, because that movement speed really increases your farming utility, your farm times as well.
The Linkers is quite common too, because especially for the mana regen. Like, the mana regen helps you stay out of base as long as possible.
And Yamate, he'll get caught off guard here. He's all by his lonesome. Does have the ultimate available though.
Too. They're not even committing to it because they know he's got Aegis.
They don't even burn the Aegis though. Not an easy hero to gank. So yeah, but you're right. The Linkus is definitely good. Gives you everything you need: a little bit of regen, tankiness, and just upping that max HP pool. Always good for a Naga Siren that's going the carry build. But yeah.
Well, Ice Blast, it looks like it's going to be flying towards the mid lane. Yamate's actually gone back, and he's looking for the Spectre of all heroes. Ice Blast going to be off the mark. That would have been a kill, perhaps. Naga Siren Radiance is going to finish the job, though. Oh boy, this Spectre, just nothing. Cannot catch a break. Nothing going his way.
Yeah, and to credit Titan, though, they've done such a good job shutting down this Spectre really when it counts. Spectre is 4-4-4 right now, so it's not like he's even really fed a particularly large amount of kills. He's died 3 times within the last 5 minutes or so after he was right on the cusp with the Radiance, after the Relic was in the inventory. That was the time when they saw this window where KYXY could farm up and they could pick on him a little bit and not give him any room to breathe. And boy, they really just... They've got a tight grip around that Spectre, and they knew the right time to apply the pressure.
Oh, and Yamate still using the Shadow Blade so effectively just to scout things out. Not even going to find anything this time, but he's just being an absolute beast on this Slark. And with Ascardi now, his damage output and just general survivability in these teamfights is not something to be underestimated.
Well, and now he can get solo kills all the more easy. If he finds somebody off by their lonesome, you're not getting away from that Scotty Slark. Here we'll see a forward step forward from the Shadow Shaman. He'll drop the wards and...
They'll get cleared up, though.
Yeah, they'll get cleared up, but still doing more damage to this Tier 3 tower. And they're at that point where just kind of going a move into the base, and any damage you can do to this Tier 3 tower is good news at this point.
KYXY finishes it off. So once do get cleaned up, so that's decent gold experience going away to Tongfu, who do have a BKB coming soon on the Templar Assassin, but problem is, suddenly KYXY, he's got 4k gold to go with this Lincoln Spirit. Yamate goes flying into the enemy base here, missing a pounce by the looks of things. Even forced to pop the, well, not forced to pop the ultimate, chooses to pop the ultimate more than anything, but he's going to back off, and Titan, they're safe. They can wait for next Roshan. Oh, sorry, they've still got Aegis. What am I talking about Roshan? They still haven't even used this Aegis.
To say, it's going to be a while before next Roche. It's only been a few minutes.
They're just going to keep going high ground. Maybe wait for next Serpent Wards.
There's the Scepter up on Ancient Apparition. He's also level 11, so this is everything that they could have ever hoped for. They'll go in on Sorry Fox, and oh, this Spectre. He just gets melted. I think that is... The most telling part of this game is how easily they can kill this Spectre. And
they've got a high ground observer. They're going to scout out U9 now. Shadow Shaman blinks the high ground as well. Looks like TA just going to try man-fight his way out of this one, but with the ensnare on himself, the Radiance burn damage as well. Refraction just gets burned to pieces. They lose 3, make it 4.
There you go.
Middle barracks are under attack.
8-24 after 28 minutes of gameplay. Again, I think an appropriate time to tap out. Titan about 20,000 gold, 14,000 experience ahead. Well played, but Titan, they're just looking too good, man. They'll take 4-0 today, and pretty convincing wins across the board. They never really seem to be struggling all that much, just decisive victories.
Yeah, a good day at the job for Titan. 4-0 today, 3-1 on day 1, and well, they're going to be pretty happy with themselves. They still know what's to come. That's tomorrow. They're versing, I believe, Dreamtime and Newbie.
Okay.
Slightly tougher, especially Newbie, the new Tongfu plus Zhao 8 mix, and then the day after that, it's DK and IG on the same day.
Oh boy.
So that's a scary day. So Titan, obviously, they know what's coming. They're going to just be happy they had these easier matches to get warmed up, to get some confidence.
It's almost like the gauntlet of Asian teams, sort of starting small and building your way up. Then you get to the behemoths, your DK, your IG, and that'll be the ultimate test a few days from now. Yeah,
absolutely. Quite a funny thought. It's kind of weird because, like, with the Chinese teams, their schedules is more spread out over the 2 months. But for the Southeast Asian teams, when they come, like Titan, all their matches in 1 week. Orange don't even go to China until May. Like, they have entire April not playing a single WPC match. I was talking to Winter. He's like, yeah, we're going to play WPC, but we don't leave until it's May. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So,
I mean, it's sort of weird, but it makes sense. It's more of just like an economics thing, right?
Yeah.
When the team's there, it's cheaper to bring them in for a week and have them play all their matches than it is to have them stay for a month and have more downtime. So, makes sense, and not too bad for us. It makes it a little bit easier to follow in the short term. You get to see exactly how Titan fares against all the teams kind of back to back. So.
Yeah. And while they get some good momentum, it works against them in that DK, IG, these other teams can look at these games and study Titan. They know what to expect, whereas DK, IG, they have not played a single WPC match yet, so there's no actual research to be done there.
Right, that's a fair point. So,
all right.
Either way, good day for Titan, and not a bad day for WPC. Dota, actually kind of a quick day for us as well. They were all
not bad.
Reasonably short games, about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, felt pretty easy.
Yeah.
Good day at work. But anyways, guys, big thanks everyone for tuning in to the WPC Dota 2 action today. We have more Titan games coming your way tomorrow, with them taking on Dreamtime as well as Newbie. But we've also got Starlight. I think Starlight
it's heating up.
It kicks off in 5 minutes.
So they're actually...
Sweet.
I think LD might have the stream running from his room for the first game.
Well,
but
he can take over from here. We're done.
Might be able to just hop in. So
I'll
beautiful.
go make sure he's awake at least. But
Yeah,
Starlight
I saw him
starts
walk
in
into
5
Dota,
minutes.
so.
So, guys, head on over to twitch.tv/Dota Starlighter_EN. Starlighter action kicking off there. I think there's some good games. You've got some Na'Vi matches. You've got Empire vs PR, Na'Vi vs PR, Na'Vi vs Rockskiss, Fnatic vs Empire. Lots of tons of good games. So
yeah, it's really heating up in the EU round robin. It's still no team is safe. Still a lot to be decided, so big matches.
Yeah. Big thanks, as always, to all the people who support Beyond the Summit. You guys on the stream, the viewers, the subscribers, as well as our sponsors. We've got Twitch, 100TB, as well as esportsventure.com. If you want to support us, check out their products. There's links underneath the stream. If you want to sign up through Esports Venture through our affiliate link, you get a nice €5 bonus, as well as a 10% deposit bonus on your first deposit. So lots of cool stuff over there.
€5. That's like $8 American. That's a bargain.
Well, I saw they actually tweeted earlier today. One guy turned €1 into 134 euros through some smart betting.
That could be you guys. Use that Dota 2 knowledge.
Use that Dota 2 knowledge to make yourself some money. So click the link below the stream and you get a €5 bonus with your first deposit. So it does go a long way to help support Beyond the Summit and us. But guys, we're done with WPC Dota 2 action. We'll be signing off. Probably starting a rebroadcast if you missed any of the matches for today. But here's the schedule for the week. Great. Thanks, WPC. This is just what I was looking for. I love they just put up what I wanted. And yeah, there's your schedule for the week. So Titan playing a lot more matches. They've got tough matches, though. DKIG, then LGD VG on the last day. So all tough matches.
All right.
Thanks for joining me, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a blast. We'll be back tomorrow night.
All right. See you later, guys.